Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to the Advancement Center, the home of magic and miracles, of lightheartedness, of laughter, of the evolution of each being, where there's an assistance given and received from every communication to take you to stand right with your Creator. So many things delivered, elevated platform of living, raising your set point, and things that make us laugh as we are given and pass on what's beyond freedom in every moment of our life. We're constantly changing, evolving, expanding, and that's why no concept, no word can be held as law. Everything is a bridge to something else, to something new. And all the bridges lead inside of you and then expand all around you. So I'm going to speak to you from a vibration, or just the words that I speak and the sound of my voice, to allow you to see yourself, see the magnificence of yourself, and many other things that are perfect for you. So sit back and relax, put your feet up as I tell you a story. It is the fourth chapter of This Life is a Hoot. And in the meantime, your brain is fucked. Chapter 4, The Show. Hey guys, did you see the new posting on the board in the break room? Looking for actors for a brand new production. It said the show is predicted for a long run, sometime off Broadway, and then a long run on Broadway, maybe a movie or TV series. I heard there was going to be an open call for auditions all this weekend with the producers and the casting director and the director herself present at the auditions. The notice said they would tell you everything you needed to know when you got to the audition. So you're kind of going in blind. I think we should all go and check it out. What do you think? Sue, are you in? Jim said, I'm definitely going to go. And Carol and Steve nodded in agreement. So as the weekend approached, everyone was a little anxious because they all wanted to be in the show. Because of all the buzz around the quality of the director and producers, it felt like it was going to be an amazing experience. Everyone took advantage of the time leading up to the auditions to brush up on their skills, their dialects, character development, and so on. And before they knew it, the weekend was upon them. Auditions were set to start 8 a.m. on Saturday morning. There were close to 500 people who arrived at the site, and Sue, Jim, Steve, and Carol were overwhelmed by the number of people who showed up. They found out that the notice for the show was sent out to a large section of the country, and that auditions were being held simultaneously all over the country. Steve said, "I think everyone on the planet is auditioning." The buzz around this production and the quality of the producers and the director has gotten everyone in a frenzy to be a part of this experience. Sue said, "I'll just be happy to get a small part in it." And Jim said, "Yeah, no matter what it is, it could be the role of a lifetime." So they were all led into a giant auditorium to find out what this was all about. The producers, the casting director, and the director, as well as some other important people, sat in the front of the room. Carol said, "I recognize the director and one of the producers. I think they're known all over the planet. They both have won multiple Academy Awards for their work, and it is said that they have the golden touch when it comes to picking a project." So the director took the microphone and began to speak. She said, "This is a very exciting project, and she was honored to be a part of it." She said, "The benefits for all involved are immeasurable." Upon hearing that, each one seated in the room had a feeling of pride and importance at what they might become a part of. The director continued, "This project is codenamed The Show. And the reason that it will run for such a long period of time is because it will be a living, breathing entity with many moving parts, expansive in its scope and dynamic in its range and effect. No role will be small or less important than another. Every part, whether you have a few lines or you are the main character of a scene, will have the same significance." The director continued, "This is an off-planet production, so you must be prepared to leave the comfort of your home for a period of time that we cannot accurately determine at this time. You will have the opportunity to experience life on another planet, to experience living in a body, a human body, on a planet called Earth, whose level of technology is more than 1,000 times behind the level that we are currently at. Once you are entered into the show, you will forget your true identity and your true home so that you can fully experience the show and therefore provide entertainment for the galaxy, as well as having the opportunity to experience and grow from things that are no longer available to you on your planet. Of course, there will be an additional hazard pay for this assignment. And upon your return, you will most definitely be recognized as a hero and as one of the greatest actors who ever lived." The crowd was stunned. And upon hearing this information, many in the crowd sat with their mouths open wide in amazement at what was being said. And more than 2/3 of those in attendance stood up and walked out of the room. They immediately felt the severity of the threat to their being if they were to participate in a project of this size and scope and potential danger. Those that stayed sat frozen in their seats and wondered why they were still in the room. They too could not believe what they had just heard, but something made them stay. Something inside of them made them want to stay and hear more. The director continued, "It was my intention to try and make the first part of my presentation a bit frightening, so that those who are not really interested in the profound nature of what we are doing could gracefully step away, and we could speak to the ones who were drawn here through a different connection." So now I can tell you that the show is a mission to uplift humanity on the planet that is called Earth, to assist in raising the consciousness and vibration of Earth herself and of every living being that calls it their home. She, Earth, and her inhabitants have lived for far too long in the density of a low vibration, which has been a detriment to her and all life that exists upon her. So we and many others from other planets and other galaxies are putting the show in place to assist the movement of Earth and her inhabitants into a field of a higher vibration. This is being done in many ways by many entities, all at the same time, all having the same purpose, which is to bring about a change in the life and the energy of Earth and all her inhabitants. At the hearing of this, there were tears on every face in the room and a feeling of resolute determination to support and lift up that which had been incapable of supporting and lifting up itself. Each one within themselves knowing the journey of their own planet and their own civilization and the support it received from others, felt compassion and unconditional love for Gaia and her children. Then one of the producers added, "The higher vibration that exists within you will have the effect to produce the change on Gaia and in the beings that you encounter there." They continued, "Even as you will have forgotten who you are, your vibration will not leave you, and it will directly and indirectly affect the consciousness and vibration of all those you interact with. So there's nothing you need to do. Your just being on the planet will facilitate the change. Over time, you will have moments of remembrance, moments of remembering who you really are, but most would not believe you, even if you told them. At an appropriate time in each one of your lives, you will be drawn closer to those who are like you, who have taken on this mission codenamed The Show, and you will find peace and solace in the companionship of those family members that come from a place that has the exact vibration or resonant frequency of the vibration that is the same as yours." Steve, Sue, Jim, and Carol were riveted to those speaking at the front of the auditorium, and all four agreed that this was their destiny and that this was what they would do. And then out of nowhere, a man came out on the stage with a clown suit on and a little dog and a box with all kinds of gadgets inside. And he began throwing things into the crowd, honking horns, and having his dog jump back and forth through a hula hoop. We all broke into laughter, not necessarily because he was funny, but because this was a way to shift the energy from the seriousness of this endeavor to something lighthearted, exciting, and surprising, all at the same time. For a moment, we completely forgot why we were there. And the next thing you know, out of the back of the auditorium, people were coming forward with glasses of champagne and sandwiches and beautiful snacks for us to enjoy. We toasted one another, enjoyed a beautiful meal, and were filled with smiles and laughter. At that point, the director and producer passed out some documents that we needed to sign to agree that we would hold no one responsible for this choice, and that we, being of sound mind, agreed to do this without coercion of any kind. Steve, Sue, Jim, and Carol all looked at each other and agreed that they would sign the document. Jim noticed that there was quite a lot of fine print at the bottom of the page that ran all the way over to the next page. Sue said, "Don't worry about it. It's just some legalese that they have to put in to make sure they follow the law." We laughed and said, "Yeah, we don't need to read all that." Once we signed the document and handed it forward, we were officially a part of the mission, codenamed The Show. And since none of us had family, we did not have to go and speak to anyone about the change in our life that we were about to encounter. So after a few minutes of relaxation, the casting director took the floor and started to present the available parts and roles. He said there are many roles to choose from, but that he would only list a few here today. He said we were to come back tomorrow and he would share more of what roles were available. He said, "Just know that all the roles will have immense challenges, even if it didn't appear so from the description." He said, "Remember, you are going into a very low density, and most of the beings you will encounter will suffer from a condition that has been termed by some as your brain is fucked. This is the disease that is related to allowing your brain, not your spirit, to run your life. The primary cause of this is the forgetting of your divine nature and the reality that you are immortal, eternal, and a spiritual being. You too will forget this truth, and your brain will also be fucked. But it is your essence and your vibration that will supersede this condition and deliver information and a feeling that allow others to remember the truth of who they are. So in effect, you are being embedded into the human matrix, having the antidote for their low vibration inside your being. And the tricky part is you won't remember that that is what you are doing. So you will be the greatest double agent because you won't know that you are a double agent. Therefore, you won't have to lie, and you won't be recognized and tracked as a spy. And as I said earlier, once you start to remember, very few people will believe you. Most will think you're crazy because they will see you as a normal human, which is the same way that they see themselves. He then began with the roles. I've got children of dark complexion and light complexion from many different countries, speaking many different languages, some in poor families, some in rich families, and some in the middle. I've got adult male and female roles of every race and nationality, single, married, divorced, gay and straight, some still in college, some working in medicine, finance, the arts, music, electronics, science, and engineering of all kinds. We have parents with kids, married with no kids, living together, not married, and some combinations we still have not figured out. We've got some athletes, actors, carpenters, designers, salespeople, and chefs. It is a wide range of options, and once you choose a general area, we will give you more details. As I mentioned before, all are extremely challenging. It just depends on what you want to experience. But the information that we've gotten from the field always comes back with the overwhelming confirmation that relationships are the most difficult of all. And that also makes them the most gratifying too. So decide by tonight and tomorrow, we will begin your preparation to head to Earth and put you in your role for the show. which has been established for the benefit of Earth and all beings that reside in her field. The four friends, Tom, Sue, Jim, and Carol, were excited to discuss what roles they would take on. They knew that once they got to Earth, they would not remember each other. So they made a pact that they would one day find each other. And to help facilitate this, they would plant deep within each one's memory the remembrance of this day and the incredible feeling that they were sharing at this exact moment. They knew that one day their memory would be jogged and they would remember who they were, where they were from, and why they came to Earth. It was a glorious day, and only a short 7 days later, they would be in the show on the planet that is called Earth. This is the story of the journey of Steve, Sue, Jim, and Carol, but it is also, in some form or another, the story of you. Cheers. And just remember, you are divine. Your vibration is changing the world. So enjoy your life, for this life is a hoot, and it's all just a show. Hold on to that story and see life from the perspective that you came here, as those four did, to do the very exact thing. And that nothing in this physical world ever will change who you are. You are an aspect of the one energy, just as they were and they are. And all you need do is see yourself as an agent on Earth. To allow others to see who they are, which will raise the vibration and the consciousness and give beautiful Gaia the expansion and the freedom to be herself. Thank you for joining me with a smile on my face. I remind you to see yourself. Where you have everything at your disposal including perfect health, a perfect life, and a magic future that will go on for eternity. I am David.